So here's what we have left with the dash. I pulled the air conditioning and heater core out. I'm hoping to put the DC to DC converter and charger on the firewall in front of the passenger seat. Next, we remove the Supra subframe, suspension, and brake lines. With the Supra subframe removed, we were able to set it next to the Tesla subframe and start to get an idea on the physical differences between the two subframes, including the mounting points and the overall width of the larger Tesla subframe. Here you can see the mounting points for the Tesla motor. You have one in the back, you have one in the front, and then on what is my passenger side, the left side of the car, you have another mount that is 3 bolts holding it in from the side. Here we have everything pulled out of the rear end of the car and ready to start fitting the Tesla subframe. Since I would be taking the Tesla subframe in and out repeatedly for fitting, I decided to remove the 300-pound motor. I don't have an engine hoist, so I had to get creative. Using the lift did the trick. It was an exciting day when we got to put the Tesla subframe up under the Supra for the first time and figure out how much cutting would be necessary. This is the rear subframe support that will have to be clearanced out. Here you can see the front mounts and get an idea on the suspension and how far the hubs will stick out. Have to do some clearancing here as well. Here's the rear subframe mounts. They'll have to be moved back and out towards the edges of the car. So here we have the front mount, and the subframe needs to come forward and go up more. So we will have to start cutting the front subframe mount off the Supra. Around back here, we have the rear mount for the Supra here, and we will need to clearance all this area out to allow for clearance of the Tesla motor that fits in. We'll have to build a new mount off each side to pick up the mount for the Tesla subframe coming off here, and maybe putting some arms coming back to reinforce on either side. It's pretty easy to see here what the problem is and what's not allowing the subframe to go forward and up. So we'll clearance that out, and around back it'll allow us to scoot it forward and pick up this mount a little bit easier. With the stock Supra subframe mount removed, we were finally able to move the subframe forward and up into the proper position. With the rear subframe temporarily in place, we moved on to mounting the radiators. There are two radiators for the car, one for the battery pack and one for the drive unit. Next, we mounted our Toyota MR2 electronic power steering pump. Installed our custom temporary suspension. We then turned our focus to mocking up battery boxes using 1/8 inch plywood. This box is under the hood and would hold 10 batteries. This is the mock-up of the mid box, what would be in the back seat of a stock Supra, which holds 4 batteries. I decided I could get some weight a little bit lower by redoing the front box and having 6 batteries in a bottom box perpendicular and 4 batteries on top horizontal. Seeing as how I'm not a fabricator and I decided this would not be the place to learn, I loaded the car up and have taken it to a local fabricator who's going to mount the subframe properly and build the battery boxes for me.